Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Desperate House Witches. I am Dorian Wallace, joined as always by my lovely sister Rena Starr. How you doing, Mama?
Hey, girl. Hey, folks. Sup?
Feeling?
Oh, I love you. You're so clever. Okay.
I know.
So,
I'm funny.
So, you're funny. That's a family motto. I'm funny. It's also true. You're a laugher. All right. You know what? Let me get down to business here.
All right.
If you're new to the show, welcome to Desperate House Witches. We are not a GPG, an R, or even an X-rated show. Although I have to tell you, going for an X rating might be fun. I wonder what I have to do to get that accomplished. That's something for research later. Take a note. Okay. So, if bad talk and bodily functions and all kinds of nasty, dirty things are offensive to you, leave the room, and I won't be offended. Even if I am offended, who the fuck cares?
There you go. Get a permission slip from your parents.
No. So, couple of things. First thing I got to do is, of course, thank our amazing sponsors, starting with The Angry Cauldron at theangrycauldron.com. The Angry Cauldron is having a newsletter out now, which is fabulous, and some amazing candle pre-order products. There's a green man, I believe, and, he's going to shoot me because I can't remember the other one. Wait for it. I'm getting to it. He also has, we also have, in addition to the Father candle, Pissant, I think, it's a Breege candle. So if you want to invoke the spirits of these entities, get yourself over to theangrycauldron.com. They also have amazing bath bombs. Just saying, you know, I love the bath bombs.
She does,
them. And they're being redone. So I'm kind of excited for their release date, which I do not have yet. So thank you to our friends at theangrycauldron.com. Okay, our other sponsor, the amazing Wicked Witch herself, the Enchantress Dorothy Morrison, whom we love and adore.
Yes.
And if you were unfortunate enough to miss out on her Month of Dorothy Morrison February kick-ass social media special sale, hopefully there will be another one in the not-too-distant future. I do not know, but the next time she's on, we will ask her about said magical enchantments. Also want to put a bug in everybody's ear. Coming up in a couple of weeks, we are going to have some people on that y'all have not talked to before. We know them. Mm-hmm. You're going to know them and love them after we're done talking to them. There is an event going on in Atlanta for all of you southeastern pagan types who say, gee, we never have a festival of any kind. The first annual Mystic South convention is going to be going on in Atlanta on the 21st of July, 21st, 22nd, and the 23rd. So book your flights, get your hotel room ready. Mystic South. It is also online, www.mysticsouth.com. And just as an FYI, I will be doing a remote show that night Sis is going to stay home and keep the home fires burning, and she is sending my happy ass down to Atlanta. So I will be doing a live show from there with Sis. Sis, as I said, will be running everything because Sis has to run my life for me because I don't have any control over myself. And if anybody's noticed, my sister put together a picture of us for the show page. I'm the old asshole on the left. My sister is the cute blonde on the right, just so you know who's who.
Funny. And I got to give a shout out to my husband who has the mad Photoshop skills.
He does
That's
have
what
mad
he does
skills.
for a living. Yeah.
He does have mad skills. And I was not going to mention him because I did not know if it would be appropriate to do so. But thank you, sir. You actually made me look as though I have survived all these years and not completely deteriorated. So I thank him for his mad skills. So, yeah, you want to see what our happy asses look like, hie yourselves over to the show page, and there's a new picture. Woohoo! My sister is obviously the cute one. I am obviously the old one. There you go.
We're both cute. So, I'll take it. I will be conceited tonight. We are both cute.
That's not
I'm very happy
conceited.
with that.
No, your picture's oh my gosh. I saw that picture of you and I was like, look how cute my sister is. Look at her little face. It's a great picture. And I love those glasses. Holy snaffoli. I love those glasses. They are double cute.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate it. They're my favorite. When I go back in for another prescription, I want the same frames. I am not getting rid of these.
You should actually. Where did you get the frames from? Did you get it from the ophthalmologist?
Yeah, actually, someplace just down the street from me, and he's awesome. Because he, like, the first time I went in, he took a look at my tattoos. He goes, "Are you pagan?" I was like, and immediately in the South, you freeze up when somebody asks you that. It's like,
no shit.
Do I answer truthfully or not? And it was like, yeah. He goes, oh, okay. He goes, yeah, I used to dabble. I was like, oh, awesome. He was like totally
funny.
Cool with it.
I hear a lot of people use the word dabble. It's like, you're in the pool or you're out of the fucking pool. Don't dabble. I don't dabble in Christianity. Don't be dabbling in our shit. Be in or be out. You can be pagan friendly. I like pagan friendly, but it cracks me. I mean, and I'm not trying to disparage people who say they dabbled at one time. I mean, someone I was very close to for a very long time admitted to dabbling once, and I kind of cracked up, but whatever. I don't know. I guess religion is like pantyhose. You try on a few pairs, get the right feel, get the right fit. Yeah, it makes sense. Never mind. Forget what the fuck I said 5 seconds ago. Anyway, so
I probably will. I'm old.
Well, you're not old, and hopefully everybody else will forget just because it was meaningless. But anyway,
you're too funny.
my sister makes me laugh because she's funny. Tell people you're funny.
You're
funny. She's
I am
funny. She is. I'm funny too, but looks aren't everything. Okay. So, bump. So let's see. What else did I want to? Oh yeah, I had an interesting. Okay, so all right. I don't mean to get all heavy with the subject matter, but I need to. So there's been a lot of posts lately about, women being objectified and used and more women have been, and I will just lay it out. More women have been raped and sexually assaulted than not. So for all you guys out there who did not know that, yes, it's true. I guarantee you, line up any 10 women, and at least 2/3 of them have been sexually molested, assaulted, raped. They're not all the same thing at some point in their lives.
Yep.
So, and it's weird to me because when I talk to men about it, a lot of the time they're completely unaware because the men I associate with, fortunately, are not that kind of asshole. Different kind of asshole, but but still, well, everybody's an asshole. Women are assholes, men are assholes. I say that all the time. But it's striking to me how few men actually, like the decent ones, actually have no clue that this happens to most women and that it's happened to their moms and their sisters and their aunts and their friends. I mean, it's startling how accepting we had been of this kind of, but sometimes benign abuse by men. Sometimes, not always. Mostly, if you feel like you have the ability to just touch somebody without their permission, douchebag. Which leads me to a story. And I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this fucking story. But I had an incident. Well, maybe I won't. Maybe people will be like, way to go, bitch. You do it. So I'm of a certain age, okay? I am closer to 60 than not. And there are several gentlemen that I work with. And there are several guys that I work with, but they're contract players. They're not really part of the company. So this one kid, I don't know, he must have a thing for older chicks or whatever. I don't know what his sitch is. But I've known him a couple of years. We always say hi and bye. He comes and gets a hug in the morning, yada, yada. Not a big deal, okay? So the other day, this kid walks into my office and he says, "You're so pretty," and he gives me a kiss on the cheek. And I said, "Aw, thank you." He's like, "Can I get a hug?" I'm like, "Of course." Nothing out of the norm. I hug all my guys because we've been around each other for so fucking long. I've known most of these people for a decade or better. This guy I've only known a few years. But still, So he gives me a hug. And I suddenly notice that he has grabbed my ass.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I freak, okay? Not freak as in screaming loud enough for the entire company to hear, because I could have, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what the fuck is wrong with you? What's that about? And he basically ran out of my room.
Didn't say anything?
He's like, oh my God. I guess my reaction freaked him out. Now, he is not from this country. Well, he's not from this country. So, first of all, I don't, he could have been raised in such and such a way. Not that makes a fucking difference. But I guess my level of anger flipped him out. So he ran.
Well, that was a wise choice for him.
Oh, wait. He comes back 15 minutes later, and he walks back into my office, and he says, "I am so sorry. I didn't mean any disrespect. I'm so sorry. I would never disrespect you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And I was like, all right, maybe, I don't know what. I'm like, I'm too fucking old for you anyway, and I'm married, okay? So I am off the market, okay? Leave me alone.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm older than you think. And I start laughing. I'm like, how old are you? He's like, I'm almost 30.
Oh,
I
you too, boo-boo.
I've always had a theory, or not a theory, but an MO. And my MO is, if I'm old enough to have ever diapered your happy ass, that is not going to be a happening thing. Bye-bye. So he's like, he's like, I'm really, really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. But, you know, I really want to take you out to dinner. You're so pretty, da-da-da. And I'm like, holy shit, this kid is like fucking ridiculously serious. Because, you know, sometimes, and I've seen this all through my life, where young guys will be really nice to old ladies because they think the old lady may have some money, or they're just trying to be nice because she's an old lady. You know what I mean? Like, you know, make the old lady feel good. You get what I'm saying? I've seen that my whole life. People used to do that with my gran. Okay, guys would be like, "Oh, Gran, I should take you somewhere. You're so beautiful." And she would laugh and giggle. I mean, she was old enough to be their grandmother as well, okay? So, I mean, I've always seen this kind of thing occur where guys would do it very politely. So anyway, this young fucker is like, I'm like, dude, it's not going to happen, okay? Even if I were A, available, B, younger, C, interested, D, no. I don't shit where I eat, okay? We don't do that. That's not good. He's like, okay, I'm really, really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. He's like, I'm so sorry. He's like, I'll never do that again. And he gives me a hug, and the motherfucker put his hand on my ass again, and I backhanded him across the room.
Yes! Get it, sis! Good for you.
I didn't even yell. I just went, boom.
Oh, my God.
He went
the
flying
fucking
into the
cojones
filing.
On this kid.
I know. Well, he doesn't have them anymore because I think he dropped them when I reeled him back into the filing cabinet. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's the one thing. You don't want to piss off my sister. She is very nice.
But this was just ridiculous.
No, you don't step over that line, huh?
It was ridiculous. You know, I'm by invitation only. If I haven't invited you, like, to touch certain, I mean, I'll hug anybody because I'm friendly like that. But don't put your hands on things that are not, you know, you've not been given permission to have your hands on.
Yeah,
okay?
Exogamous.
Seriously.
Sorry.
So, you know, after that, and he got up off the floor because I think I scared him and hurt him at the same time because he did not expect, you know, and I have rings on, and I don't have small ring. I don't have small rings. So I went, and I mean, wow, it was like a Batman episode, man. I was doing my Batman. If any of you are old enough to actually remember Batman, I'm sure a lot of our listeners are not. But yeah, so I'm like, you know, that's not respectful, man. Back your shit up. I haven't seen him since.
Good.
I don't know if he's like afraid that I ratted him out. And it's like, I don't fucking have to rat your ass out. Because I can handle your shit on my own. I don't need anybody's help. You know? Yeah. Now you know. No, I mean, I don't think he'll do it again because I think he realized that I wasn't fucking playing. And back your shit off me. He won't be asking for a hug anymore. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, right? That's a no. You are done with those. Trot your happy ass to somebody else's cubicle. Well, actually, no, don't. I mean, thankfully, you don't have too many females in the office, so.
No, it's me and my assistant. We're the only females that reside in our building. And it's just the level of, I don't know. I mean, I understand other cultures handle this kind of thing maybe differently, but you're in my culture right now. If you're in my personal space and you're in, my city, my state, my country, whatever, I do expect you to follow certain laws. Thou shalt not put thy hands on a person that you don't know that way. You don't know me like that.
Yeah, you don't know me.
You may know me, but you don't know me like that. You ain't gonna. I mean, but I could have made a big deal. The last person who did that to me is still kind of groveling, and knows better. I talked to his happy ass last week. He's like, "Hi, thank you so much for all of your help." I'm, okay, I helped you. Just don't forget. Next time I will scream, and then everybody will turn around. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk.
Exactly. Because you might get hurt.
Yeah. I didn't realize I was like any kind of fucking commodity, although, I am funny, I'm wicked smart, and I make my own fucking money. I guess that's a rarity in some situations, apparently. I don't know. So,
well, and you're gorgeous.
Whatever. Thanks. That's the love of a family member saying that. But I mean,
she always says that.
It's true. You do love me.
I do love you. I do love you, but I'm not lying.
I didn't call you a liar. I merely stating that relatives have a certain view of other relatives in such a way that you would be complimentary. I know you're hot because I have other people tell me you're hot. No, seriously. Like the picture of us, I showed a couple of people, and I'm like, "Look at my sister! Oh my God, she's so cute!" I'm like, "Oh no, it's my baby, and my baby's so cute." Because you are.
Now I'm gonna be embarrassed.
Fuck, you're not.
I'm not as embarrassed as I would have been like a year ago. It's like, okay,
that's true.
I'm not hog feed, so I'm good with that.
Oh, you're hilarious. You've never been hog feed a moment in your life. Anyway, so
there was
no. Awkward stages is something everybody goes through. So that doesn't count. Get it out of your head. But it's just really funny the way some people think of certain things as just being a norm. Like, men are allowed to just touch you, or, men are allowed to just comment, or, and being in the South, it's even worse. Where men just make it's incredible. Like if I was still in New York and this incident had occurred in New York, are you kidding? There would have been a cop, there would have been HR, there would have been his boss, my boss, there would have been there would have been a SWAT team descending down from the sky the minute anything happened. Down here in the South, it's a little old school. In a manner of speaking, it's still in some places a good old boy network. I mean, the first time anybody ever did anything inappropriate to me in a work situation like that was in the South.
Yeah.
It's like, but you would think, the way the world has kind of grown up not grown up, but changed. And, now we're all so fucking PC. And, you can't make a joke in certain instances because somebody's going to be offended, or, Now there's cultural appropriation is a thing. As far as I know, that was not a thing before. I don't know. I mean, like all these different things are a thing now. And, it amazes me that as advanced as we've gotten, we've kind of also gotten a little bit silly because no matter what you do, you can't wipe your ass without offending someone. Now, what happened to me was offensive in the regard of he was an idiot. He's a kid. He's a stupid kid. He's a stupid kid who thought he was going to get away with whatever, and he didn't. But I'm not, willing to destroy his life over it. Maybe he'll take this as a life lesson. He's probably still terrified I'm going to tell somebody. I'm only telling a couple of thousand. Yeah, I mean, I'm only telling a couple of thousand people right now, but I didn't give his name, so it's not like anybody's going to look him up, But, I mean, the fact of the matter is that there are some things that are really not cool, but, I'm not going to wage a war to destroy this kid's life because I think he got the message after I fucking slugged him. What I mean? And people learn a lesson.
Yeah. Hopefully he won't do that to somebody else. That's I don't know. I've only really had two, serious, or not serious instances, but in the workplace. Once when I was about 17, I was working at the Ren Fair, and a friend of mine worked there too, and I mean, he was a good-looking guy, but I was not interested in him, and he was constantly hounding me for a date, and it was like, you know what, I'm no, thank you, and he would corner me, and I had gone to the boss at one point because, he was touchy-feely, and it was getting uncomfortable, and I explained to them politely, listen, if you could have us working in separate stations, I would appreciate that. I don't want you to fire him. It's just, I'm uncomfortable. Well, he had come up behind me at one point and picked me up. Well, the boss's son was standing right behind him when he did it and grabbed him by the scruff of the neck, took him outside, and immediately fired him.
Wow.
And it but it had to go on for, it should be that, listen, you can tell somebody, please don't do that, and they'll stop. Another guy I was working, I was a single mom at that point, and I was working 2 or 3 jobs, and one of the jobs was in a gas station, and I was stocking the refrigerator, and this guy had been flirting with me or whatever, and it was like, I don't mind talking to you, I don't mind you hanging out, but it's going to go no further than this. And he cornered me in the refrigerator and kissed me, and I pushed him away, and I said, I will scream, my coworker is out there, don't ever do that again, because next time I will call the cops.
Wow.
It's just that invasive. I wish I had the courage to backhand him. I really did. But I was still in my 20s. I needed the job, because I needed to feed my kids.
Yeah, see, that's fucked up. That's fucked because when you corner somebody who's defenseless like that, who's frightened, that's fucked up. That's a situation where you need to scream as loudly as possible and get as many eyes on the situation as you can. My happy ass is old and don't give a fuck. So I'm very confident in my ability to say, fuck you, and take care of it on my own. Now, if this guy had tried to be a douche even more about it, that would have been something else. If I thought I was in a dangerous situation, then yeah, I probably would have screamed bloody murder because I'm very protective of me. Okay?
Yes.
But this was a situation where it's like, are you fucking... I mean, I guess I must have gotten some kind of incredulous look on my face where I was just like, is this fucking really happening?
Yeah.
And
are you fucking serious right now?
Is this real? Are you kidding me with this bullshit? Boom! And, you know, that really ended that really quickly. It was holy shit. You know, did you not hear what the fuck I said 15 minutes ago about don't touch me?
Yeah.
Did you miss that part? Apparently you missed that part. Yeah. let me reiterate it in such a way that you understand me this time. But the thing that bothers, and you know what, maybe next time, if you go up to somebody younger, you're going to get a tiger that you didn't fucking bargain for.
There you go.
You know, somebody will be more than happy to end your ass for less.
Yeah, because women do carry knives on them. I carry a blade on me, and I know how to fucking use it.
I think you're more the exception than the rule. When you're in the workplace, you know, women tend to be vulnerable and concerned about you don't want to make a fuss. And when I got, you know, and when the first time this kind of thing happened to me 20 years ago, you know, I said something. I did say something to the boss. And I was told, oh, he didn't mean anything by it. Because, of course, my boss at the time was an older man, an older Southern man, you know, being in the South. So that kind of thing was kind of, you know, it's not cool, but, you know, he's a really good customer and, you know, we don't really want to make a big deal about it. Let me tell you something. Now, if I had gone into my boss and say, guess the fuck what just happened to me, he would have, the SWAT team would have descended immediately. Yeah. It would have been like, you know, Navy SEALs dropping from the ceiling.
That would have been awesome.
He would have lost his shit. Okay?
Wow.
But I didn't feel the need to make everybody lose their shit because I can handle my shit, you know.
Oh,
so
definitely.
I'm interested to hear what Jade thinks about all this because I find Jade to be one of the most aware men that I've ever met in my whole life. He's very in touch with, you know, the divinity of women and the sacredness of women, and you know, I'm curious to hear what he has to say about all this. Oh wait, before you bring him on, tits and balls, bring him on.
Okay. Hello.
Hi. That's my cue from now on.
It is.
Tits and balls.
Well, you know, I missed what happened to you, Raina. You were talking. I popped in right when you were talking about like some kid did something, and you're going to let him live.
Oh yeah.
Tell him.
All right. To give you a fast recap, kid I've known for a couple of years now. Somebody who works as a contractor with the company. Excuse me. And I hug my guys all the time. This kid came in gave me a kiss on the cheek, said, "Can I get a hug?" And I stood up, and he grabbed my ass. And I went, "The fuck is wrong with you? Come on, I want to take you out. You know, you're so beautiful." Blah 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 blah. All the things men say, whatever. Okay. So I screamed. He ran. All right. Comes back 15 minutes later and says, "I didn't mean to disrespect you. I'm so sorry." He's not from our country. Not that matters, but I'm putting it in just in case it does matter. I'm so sorry. I would never disrespect you. I didn't mean it. I'm so sorry. And puts his arms around me, grabs my ass again. So I backhanded him into the filing cabinet.
I'm so proud of my sister.
And I'm a short shit, you know. I don't give a fuck. I'm mean and loud, and I can handle my shit. I felt no danger. I was pissed, livid pissed, but I wasn't in any danger. If I had been in danger, I would have screamed my fool head off, and the entire company would have come running. But it was a situation where I felt like, oh, I can fucking handle this. No problem. I got this. Boom. Crash. Floor. Ran out the door.
And her rings ain't no joke.
Yeah, because I backhanded it with my rings on, and I tend to like big stones and stuff in my rings, so boom.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, it didn't tickle, I'm sure.
Well, you know, I mean, to me, you either charge them like $1,000 to do that, or you murder the person. I mean, it's like I don't really understand the male mentality here. You know,
Exactly.
It has been the biggest issue I've had my whole life is dealing with guys. I don't really understand a lot of the male mentality out there, which is, and I appreciate your statement about the feminine divine and me being aware. And it's really hasn't come from, well, it's definitely come from within me, no doubt about it, but it came from just having a life where the decisions I made would surround me with women, all the way down to my, you know, growing up in my house, I have a single mother that had 8 sisters, you know, and it's just like I have been just dominated by the feminine form to such an extent I could see the wisdom in all of it. In every stage of the feminine form, I could see the dominance and the intelligence that it was. And I am 100% open to the idea that a male may come, or a female may come up with another opinion that I have. That's fine. You know, my guru in India would always say, you know, you have to envision God or the universe as a giant elephant. And in the end, everybody is that elephant and is a part of that elephant. But some people get there by grabbing the tail. Some people get there by grabbing the trunk. Some people grab it in the nuts. How you get to that elephant is your path. Mm-hmm. And my journey has been very specifically formulated and somewhat even thrust upon me by the feminine form. And so I believe that this force chose me even more than I chose it, because it's just been the way that it's worked out. Even my career, it's like 99% of my clients are women. Rarely will a man walk in the door. And it's funny because I'm also put in very strange situations in my job often where I have to choose between whether I'm going to stand up for the male or stand up for the female, because I deal with a lot of couples. And I always take the female side, no matter what the circumstance is. And it's due entirely to not only my training in India, but being in a situation where I have had to understand her point of view over his point of view. Yet in my world now, it now makes more sense. I just believe that, women on all levels, all the way down to the most disturbed attribute of the feminine form, and I don't even know if I believe in that. I'm saying that just for the sake of, people's understanding, from like the dark side of the feminine to the highest side of it. To me, it's all gold. All of it is. And what you learn from that is priceless. And that's why, in ancient time in India, where if a man hit a woman, it would come out of his paycheck. It means she was his good karma. And if a man harmed a woman, it would come out of his life financially. And now you see that still play out to this day. Like if Chris Brown hits Rihanna, he can't. His career can't get out of that. It just can't get out of that. Yeah. It's like she said, I'm going to make certain that the world remembers the fact that you hit a female. This is coming out of your paycheck. Yep. And that ancient rule that was established thousands of years ago in India that Kali ruled over women, and if a man punched one or harmed a woman, he would be impacted for the rest of his life, I think plays a really valid role in creation because you see that happen. But, it's just, in the end is infinite light. We all get infinite light, and it's this formless, attributeless energy of light. But in my experience, it is the feminine form that leads towards that light and towards that consciousness, and I believe it's because of the level of non-duality in the feminine form is so high. The deepest element of the female is compassion and empathy for all beings, and you see that when you advance and evolve, you see women kind of advance into this Gaia-like mother state, and you can tell in my experience that's the path, and even. And I even say things that women don't like sometimes too, because I make a lot of comments about even like the craziness of the feminine form. There is what we call an irrationalness that can sometimes come into play. But in India, I was taught that when a woman goes into that state, she's trying to destroy the concreteness of the mind, where there's this stuckness that a male gets into, and the crazy element of the feminine form is used to disrupt that stability or sturdiness that doesn't create the next level of growth. So in my situation, when the women is on a higher vibration on almost every level that there is, and being so immersed in that philosophy, I have had really difficult times making male friends at all, because even like the second I'm around a guy and he starts talking about young chicks and stuff like that, like we're done. Mm-hmm. We're done. Mm-hmm. And so that is such a common scenario. I can't tell you how difficult it is making male friends, because I don't want to hear about women like that at all. And I'm not a saint. My God, I'm not a saint at all. That's not even the point I'm trying to make. There's just a certain type of respect a man has to have for a female in order for us to engage in a deeper type of friendship, and that's never happened yet.
Wow.
It's never happened yet, because and that's why I just surround myself with women, because I understand it. It's not the only way, and I'm aware of that, but I do believe that I definitely represent that feminine wisdom out there as a man, and I love being a male feminist. I absolutely love that. Even in the most harshest respects, where some of that feminism is hardcore anti-male, I'm the only man I've ever met like that, where I believe the male form is the ignorant form and the female form is the higher, and the only way he's going to enter the divine is if he actually can somehow acknowledge that. It's not the only truth, but it's definitely mine.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, there is some positive stuff going on with this Trump nonsense. I mean, there actually has been, and it's been what we're talking about. I mean, women have been forced to really come together, and Raina, you mentioned that before, and I'm definitely seeing that now. Mm-hmm. The wrathful side of the divine feminine is coming through all this, and I'm like starting to go, I might like this. I might like this, because it's really coming together right now. I don't know if you guys are seeing that or not.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Not me. I'm not seeing it yet.
Tell me what it is. Are you seeing it going the opposite way? What are you seeing?
I see everything really all muddy right now, as far as, people are fighting for their voices, and it's a lot of different voices, and they're all voices that are worth fighting for, but it all seems to be a jumble, and, there's got to be, people can't be afraid to be around each other. And that's the direction that I see it going in.
Yeah,
people are afraid. People are afraid of having an opinion. People are afraid of speaking their opinion. But at the same time, you have factions that are louder than ever. Women are banding together better than they were, because women generally will not band together. Women are, I'm telling the truth here, women are raised to compete with each other from day one. From day one. Now, perhaps the two generations after me, it's not like this anymore. I hope, where women are coming up to be more focused and not worried about other women around them. But the way I was raised, because let's face it, I am older than both of you, women were raised to compete for men, to compete for men's attention, to compete for a job, to compete for respect, to compete for fill in the blank. Okay? So I still see a lot of that. Cattiness, backbiting, nastiness. Women and people tend to be really great in the public eye, so to speak, when it's on social media, of supporting each other. I don't see a lot of that behind the scenes in reality. I don't see a lot of women who band together and stand up for each other. And I'm going to give you an example that involves you. Okay? And this is something I really do want to talk about tonight.
Good.
So I want to talk about Lilith. Okay?
Nice.
Because the pictures of her are stunning. She recently posted some pictures where she is less than completely dressed. She is beautiful. Her body is stunning. Her face is stunning. I love what she wears. And I shared that picture on my Pinterest because I think she is part of the many shapes and sizes of the divine feminine. And I think she is amazing. I think she is smart. I think she is brave. But the thing that upset me was the fact that she felt like she had to explain it. That bothered me.
And, that is exactly the conversation that we need to have, because I have been in Luna 13. I have put and I just posted about this before the show, I have put myself in the background, and I want to actually be the type of guy that actually is behind the female and puts her up forward. I mean, those pictures, as an example, I took those. And it's also been a very interesting thing with her because, I am someone, I have to eat 1,200 calories a day or I just gain a tremendous amount of weight. So I am on a diet all the time. She eats about 6,000 calories a day. She triples the amount I eat. She just can't keep weight on. And she's the type of female, and this is why I do like putting her form out there, because we're not dealing with a bulimic that's starving herself and trying not to eat. I'm watching the exact opposite person where and even with the burlesque stuff, she likes having more meat on her body. It's just an actual legit struggle that she has. I mean, I buy her a pint of ice cream to eat a day so she can keep weight on her body. She's just built in a way where that is a big challenge for her. But to address several things at one time, it has made everyone, males and females alike, uncomfortable that someone in my position has decided to get behind her and push her forward. And we're experiencing problems with that in small ways. It's one of these unspoken things that's kind of come alive, where I am actively campaigning for her to be in front and me in the back. Because I believe that that's a role that should be emphasized more often, and I believe that there's a lot of learning and education that comes from that doorway. So I'm going to be pushing that and an advocate for, doing what I can do to make her the star of this project. But it's made a lot of people uncomfortable, like a lot. And so her explanation, it has come from the fact that we've received heat over this. Yeah. That's one of them. We also, by the way, have parents on Facebook that are learning about certain things for the first time. It's another part of it.
Yeah.
But mainly it's due to the fact that I believe we've had some problems with the fact that, even people close to me have brought up about, one person would say, well, is she the one that's responsible for always being in the front? I'm like, no, I am. Like, we thought she was just kind of coming in and dominating the situation. I'm like, she's not like that at all. She joined a signed project. I was already signed by myself. I said, now if you go back and you look at old Jade Sol Luna chanting CDs, you always see a female on the front cover, always.
Sure do.
I've never put me on a front cover of anything. So she came in, and she was just going to be the one that received all that devotion. But it has made a lot of people uncomfortable because people don't like that role of the female in the front and the male in the background. And I think it works in a band setting when there's like 4 men and 1 woman, but when there's 1 man and 1 woman, it seems to have brought out that other, anxiety. They're like, oh, maybe I might have to do this now, damn. Especially the fact that we are in a relationship and things of that nature, it's made it even more challenging. So we're running into challenges over these things.
I just felt really bad about it because people, not everyone's going to love you, and I don't expect everyone to love everybody. However, there is, and yes, is she thin? Yes, she's thin, but she's beautiful. She's truly beautiful. So why not? She is a walking work of art. Leave it alone. If you don't like it, just like you don't like certain paintings, walk away. You don't have to stand there in front of the painting that you find abhorrent. I mean, she's a walking piece of art. We're all walking pieces of art. I applaud her bravery to put herself out there, and I think she's magnificent, and I think you're magnificent for giving her that kind of encouragement and space, because to put yourself out there is terrifying.
And she was terrified to do that. A lot of it was just basically, because, there was a lot of anxiety about it. And for me, I have 2 roles in people's lives in general. I mean, my job is to find the core of who a person is and then try to magnify that person. That is really what I do. And that's what I do in my job as an astrologer. That's my favorite part. Prediction is fine. It's not what I enjoy as an astrologer. I enjoy trying to find that one thing that person is and magnify that and make them understand its importance and its greatness. And these things in her, I believe, were there, and believe that those things should have come up for her own personal growth and development. She has a lot of anxiety about her form being very thin. She's learning to get comfortable. So it was for her a kind of coming out of the closet kind of a thing. And I wanted that and wanted to promote that. It's kind of who it's the way that I work. I really enjoy being that type of a person that can assist in that way. But there was a lot of tension around it, and it's one of those things that in our world here in Hollywood, we're going to lose friends over this a lot.
Oh wow,
that's absurd. This is just absurd.
Yeah, that's sad.
We've even recognized in the last 2 weeks through After It how certain bands, specifically bands with women in them, have completely turned away from us.
Jealous bitches. Jealous bitches.
And not using those terms, but using others. And making, so we talked about it yesterday, Mike. Remember these bands that we were, and I said, notice the ones that have girls in it have just recently deleted us from like their Facebook pages and all this stuff. And bands we were touring with and things like that. Yep.
Did you hear that shit I just said a little while ago about women being in competition? Did you hear me say all that? Yeah. Fuck those people. I'm going to tell you right now, the people who are your true friends, I don't care if you stick a tin can on your head and call it art, I'll call it art too. Those people are not your friends. Those people don't give a fuck about you. I give a fuck about you. Sis gives a fuck about you. And your loyal fans give a fuck about you. And those are the people, you only have to answer to you. The whole world can fucking hate it, or the whole world can suck it. Whatever.
And that's what you're saying is we're in this phase where everybody is expressing their opinion so strongly about whatever is going on. The first time that she did a burlesque show and it was filmed, the very first time we posted it. And again, it was not an easy thing for her to do, even doing the whole burlesque show was. And she got some good comments, and then she got one guy's like, "Oh, I want a voluptuous woman with big tits. I don't want to see small tits," and all this stuff like that. I mean, she had to go through that, and she had to go through a transformation around the fact that that happen. And me, the first thing I did is said, listen, that's going to happen. So what? It's like those things are going to happen, and we can choose to move forward, and we can or not. And she, all by herself, had chosen to move forward and to keep going on that journey.
Yep.
But yeah, we she's already dealt with some harshness around it, and the fact that we're losing friends is we're in the last week even we were just like, oh my God, people are really upset over this, and musicians, it's like we do have a responsibility to kind of uphold sexuality to a certain degree. I think music is a very sexual thing, and that was even the point of marketing Luna 13 in the way that we're doing right now, and we're going to stay doing it this way. We're definitely, for one, we want to be on the edge. We want to kind of push people's limits a little bit. This release we have coming out, which is called Lilith, The Dark Side of the Sun, was the one we released last year. What's going on is we have releases come out so quick that no one's able to really catch up with us, but that's our fault because we love releasing new music all the time. But we're going to start running into this, and we're going to keep promoting it. And this CD that's coming out is, it is dark. Man, is it dark. And it's very anti-religious, and I want it to be anti-religious because we are evolving in consciousness. We're trying to. And sometimes in order to evolve, we have to go backwards and scoop out the shit that's stopping us from moving forward. Because if we're trying to expand upwards and there's still some weight holding us down, we have to descend back in there and scoop that shit out. That's what this Trump thing is all about. It's about scooping out this dark shit that's been just sitting under the surface. It's all got to come up, and it's all got to go away before we can truly lift to the next level. And I believe right now, and this is the part that I kept saying that, there's a dark side that people don't know, and it's really not dark. I don't believe anything I do is dark. I believe I'm a consciously awake human being that wants happiness for every human being. And as long as I can stay in that mind frame, there's really no darkness. But religion is starting to look so stupid, and it's starting to look so ignorant. It needs people to start going against that grain. And so words like Satanism are going to start being used by me and all these other various things because it is anti-religious. And watching people now run to religion, and you see their consciousness sink. You don't see it expand. Maybe in the 30s when you heard someone was going to become a Christian, you would go, oh, they're going to become a good human being. It's not that way anymore. When you see someone take that route, they're going into some separative form in which they can justify their own judgments now. And I believe judgmental people are the ones that succumb to religion the fastest days. So this CD we're releasing is highly sexual. It's anti-religious. It's borderline satanic. It might be one of the most satanic things I've ever heard, to be honest. And we're doing it on purpose to expose light on this religious darkness that's out there. And the only real darkness is that which prevents you from finding your real self. That's the only thing that is dark. The things that we do that don't promote our growth are dark. The things that we do that promote our consciousness, that's what light is, and that's different for each human being. So we're going to definitely be making a pretty dark stance on things, and we intend to kind of even stir it up all the way down to even planning a tour right dead center through the Bible Belt and going completely satanic the whole time through. And I'm using the word satanic not in the form of Satan. I'm just as anti-religious as how we're using it now.
Yeah.
So you guys are coming out to North Carolina then, right?
Well, yeah, we eventually will for sure. We're at a phase right now where where we've hit a very specific stage due to Cleopatra Records, and they've really done some help by putting us in this movie that's coming out. They've done what they can. We now have to kind of hit. We want another level here. We want a little bit more growth. So we're trying to make those things happen right now. So, so I'm not having to run this ship entirely. Because right now I pretty much am, It's a lot. I mean, Luna 13 is a second job right now, booking shows and all that stuff. And we're not an easy project to book because of this stuff we're talking about. So when we go on a tour, only certain venues will even consider playing us due to the fact that there's now nudity involved, there's now Satanism involved, and songs that are clearly sacrilegious. But we're doing it all on purpose. We just believe that we're at a phase now where you and people, we'll see people throughout our lives end up choosing religion, and for all the wrong reasons now. There's too much availability of what's that?
No, I was just going to say, tying into that, I think the thing that bothers me about it, and I feel like a lot of people are trying to break away. They're either running toward it or they're trying to break away from it, but it's the herd mentality. Even putting aside the religious aspect of it, this is just one form, and it's the most socially acceptable form of being part of a herd and being protected and not having to think for yourself and not having to look outside the box and see people for what they are. I don't know, trying to put people in categories. People are not books. I don't know how to put it. I don't know exactly.
But you to me explained it exactly the way that it is. Herd consciousness is even what is another way of me talking about like Western astrology. It's like commercialism. You know, when something is out there, I think we're in an age where the things that end up going commercial are not entirely the truths that really do exist out there. That changes in the golden ages where truth goes mainstream. We're in the Kali Yuga, according to India, where ignorance goes mainstream. And that was also a point, of me. My astrology job has been very, very busy. I have definite things I'm going to still be doing with Austerian astrology, but I also realize its timing isn't 100% yet. And when I really had that realization, it was when I started creating Luna 13, because I do like external things. In real astrology, I'm an Aries, not a Taurus, and I cannot stand being bored. I have to constantly be creating something that is disruptive or challenging people's consciousness. And I realized that this was not only do I really enjoy the art of creating music, but I also like stirring things up, just energetically. And I would even say the way we're marketing Luna 13 could even be slightly dangerous for us, and we even are aware of that. And we're going to go, okay, let's just sit there and keep forward with this and just keep moving forward. We're only on this planet for one reason, and that's to learn about who we are. We're not here for anything else. And I have liked the lessons that I've learned as a human being through Luna 13, and that's why I'm continuing to do it, is I definitely feel my evolution through it. But anyways, there's just so much weird shit going on in the universe. I mean, this whole Trump thing really popped up a bunch of dirt that was sitting under the surface that I'm not, of course I am not pro this guy, but I am now understanding that what has been sitting under the surface is now kind of coming to the surface, and we have to find a way to clear it out. And like I said, in order to rise, we have to drop the baggage. And I don't think we could rise. And I think Obama came in. This is my opinion. I'm not trying to get political. I'm trying to stay spiritual. I believe that Obama came in and started to rise consciousness a little bit, but he could only hit a certain place because there was all this weight under the surface. And Trump comes in and reflects that weight. And so we'll see what happens. But I think it's a good time to be out there and to kind of create a stir in consciousness, because everyone is going one way or the other right now. I've had more people contact me that were Christian, asking me ways to get out, and I've seen more people head right towards it than I've ever seen.
Yeah. They're looking for an answer. They're all looking for an answer, man.
I just think I think right now at the stage we're at, my personal feeling is that religion is playing one of the lowest roles in creation right now. And I don't think it always has. I just think it is right at this moment. There's a denseness in it. I have had several people become Christian in the last year and literally watched them shift from being a normal human being to someone that is borderline even dangerous now in the way they think.
Wow.
It's going on everywhere. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
It really
it's strange.
is scary.
But it definitely forces that part of me out that wants to go against that. It was funny, Lilith got this message like the day before yesterday of this Christian trying to save her soul, and she's going to post it pretty soon. And
That's awesome.
it's like, oh, you know, I also have went astray before, and God found me, and so I'm trying to bring you back to. And now, when I see that type of talk, it is to me the epitome of human ignorance. Because one statement I've been saying a lot lately, even in my readings, if Christ was a real being, he would be disgusted with religion right now. Absolutely disgusted.
Well, they wouldn't accept him. They wouldn't accept him.
And nor would he accept this. I think he would do what he did when he was here, destroy religion, because it created too much separatism, and that's what it's doing again now.
Yeah.
So I've been saying that a lot to Christians. You know, even in clients, I'm like, listen, you know, I had one of my friends who is one come get a reading the other night. I'm like, and he asked me about, I heard you're going to these like satanic groups and stuff like that. And also first, I wanted the Satanic Temple here in Los Angeles is not religious. They don't believe in Satan, nor do they worship Satan. They're actually church. They want to get the church out of state. They want to out. And they've taken the word Satanism, not that they believe in Satan. They've taken those terms because of the fact that it stirs up the most and causes the most controversy, and it works. So the people who run these, there's a difference between the Church of Satan, which was Anton LaVey, and the Satanic Temple, which is really people that can believe in God or not. It's run by people that are atheists that want separateness between church and state. And we get involved in it. That whole satanic mass they had here in Los Angeles was really an anti-Trump campaign. That's it. And they were doing all these big rituals just to kind of express their distaste for government. They literally had thousands of people screaming, "Fuck Trump." And were doing all these rituals while it was going on. It was crazy. It was like, oh my God, there's a real stir of shift of energy going on here. So, but I like these movements because of the fact that there's a truth in them, and I also like the people that are running them as well. They're really well-versed people that are not into Satan at all. They just believe that he's a political character, Satan was, that opposed the structure of things. And I'm like, oh, that all makes sense to me, you know. And most of these groups, believe it or not, reject me. I've got involved in other groups before that had satanic undertones that get rid of me because I come with witches. And they don't want people in their organizations generally. And I'm saying the groups now, but they in the past didn't want people that believed in God at all. They, in order to get their message across of church versus state, they wanted people to not believe in spirituality. So I was often rejected from these groups because I was a witch, and they didn't want those types in there. So it's a very different movement.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've actually contacted Lucian Graves to come on our show and talk to us, you know, about the good that they're doing in the community. But that makes total sense then, because I never heard back.
Well, you know what caught my attention was the first time there was this campaign in Oklahoma where in Oklahoma, if you were a child in school and you were not Christian, if you were bullied by a Christian, the school would protect the Christian. And this went on a lot. And it still goes on to this day. And what caught my attention from the Satanic Temple, which is not the Satanic Church, this is a political movement, not a religious one, was the fact that they had put up billboards in Oklahoma saying, if your child is bullied by a Christian, you contact us and we will go defend your child. That was the first thing I saw when I went, ooh, I like that. Like, that makes total sense to me. And then to find out that Christian bullying in schools is a real thing.
Wow.
That bothered me, and the fact that they were defending the people that were in those circumstances and really went, and they're like, no, call this number, we'll show up at your door, and we will politically go defend you. It's like, wow, that's amazing. That's where they're at now. They don't. These people don't believe in Satan. They believe he's a figure that opposed the system, and that's why they're using his name. So I'm there as the spiritual one, and I had to even explain myself to him. I'm like, listen, I'm a spiritual guy, man. To not believe in anything would go against the grain of my whole experience of living in India. I do, but I believe in what you're doing, and I like what you're doing. And I would rather, in my opinion, be around someone that says they don't experience anything at all than someone who makes up experiences they don't have and believes them as real. I prefer the one that says, I don't experience anything. I just happen to have had so many powerful experiences in this life, it would be lying for me to say there was nothing out there. I have had direct personal experiences, but I would still rather be around someone that said, I don't experience anything. Then my someone says, oh, I believe in this, and I had these fairies come and they talk to my ear. And I mean, if you were to hear the shit I have to hear every day, I understand that I believe to kind of bulldoze over all this crap and these delusional things that people believe is a necessity. Yet, where I differ is underneath it, there's a truth. And there's an underlying truth in spirituality that absolutely exists, and I believe I'm following that for myself. But I like the idea of them going, we really don't care. We would prefer you not to believe in anything, but if you do, you're still welcome here. They're wanting to going against the grain of those types of things too. So, and I'm not. By the way, I'm not. I go to them and participate in their events because I think they're really cool. Me myself, I'm a witch. That's just the way that it is. That doesn't change. That is what I am. And when you find your spiritual home, which is the goal of religion, is to find yourself internally. It has nothing to do with belonging to some fucking organization. I believe it's good to be around like-minded people. I think that's healthy. But your truth is just yours. And real spirituality is supposed to help you become who you are. And it doesn't do that anymore. I mean, India is at fault too. My favorite country on this planet. You know, I've seen horrible things. You go Google Jade Sol Luna online, and I'm this like devil worshipping guy that rips off celebrities, and that was created by an organization that I went against in India, because I know that a very famous guru in India was caught molesting children, and I went against his organization, publicized the fact that he molested children, and they smeared me online so no one listened to me, and it worked.
Wow.
So, all religion right now, all of it, is struggling. My problem with Wicca is the fact that it sometimes, not all the time, and I say sometimes in respect for Raina, because I like the fact that she's like, I like it. And I really do. I like when people are solid in those things, because then you know that person and where they're at. But Wicca's issue, in my opinion, is it still holds on to Christianity without knowing it. And I believe it needs to be. It needs to eradicate Christianity from it entirely in order to be a safe religion. Because it's not safe. It takes on the same judgment that Christianity does, because it's still holding on to Christianity. Demons. I mean, I hear this shit all day long. Demons. Like, okay, our ancients didn't talk like this.
No, they didn't. That's why you never hear me say that.
I've been dealing with this a lot lately.
Yeah, it's like a new brand. It's like Wicca has, I mean, because I started out Wiccan, you know, and I know Raina follows the old ways. You know, it's kind of become this mush of, you know, a portion of people who wanted to get away from Christianity, you know, and wanted to, they still harbor the old fears from it. You know, that's why to me, the do what you will and it harm none, you know, it's kind of, that's more of a Christian thing. But I don't know, it's just gotten muddy.
I don't know if that is a Christian thing, because the word karma is a bitch was Greek. And it was when Hecate took on the form of a dog, and that's where the word bitch came in, and she was going to return the favor of whatever karma was put out there. And I think that predates, the philosophy is old. What you do comes back
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, no, karma's a bitch. That term comes from Hecate, because she would turn into a dog and devour you.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's, you know, and karma is cold, and it doesn't care. It's very cold and calculating. It means everything someone does, we have to karmically deal with. Even if you consciously grow up, like let's just say a man cheats on like 20 women, and then comes the epiphany that he did wrong. In ancient Greek philosophy, just because he came to the conclusion he was wrong doesn't mean his karma is still not coming back. He still has to deal with the karma that he's created, one level or the other. It's funny because, you know, that I don't know if you've ever seen that. It was one of my favorite movies in the 90s with Clint Eastwood called Unforgiven.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he explains that at the very end. That exact thing. It's like karma does not care. I'm here, I am the force of karma, and you just deal with what you have to deal with. Now, I'm not even saying that's the truth. I've actually believed that my awakenings have shifted a lot of my karma. So I'm just saying that was a belief that I read in Greek literature, that karma was a bitch, was karma was going to come back no matter what. And it was cold and calculating and very unfeeling in the way that it came back. But me, my first real feeling is I love Wicca. And what I love about Wicca is the energy that comes off of it. I believe that a part of me truly and sincerely is a Wiccan. I just can't listen to people talk about it. Because what I feel with the Divine Mother in it, that those old Celtic, those old Greek energies, they're really truly who I am. And I drink off of that energy of it, like listening to Celtic music as an example. Fuels me with that ancient mother spirit. I love Celtic music. I just don't want to hear people talk about it, because when they talk about it, I lose total interest in it. But if I feel it, I love what I feel.
Why do you lose interest when they talk about it?
Because I don't agree with anything that they say. I just don't. I just feel the Christianity in it. Okay. But at the same time, it's like music. If I feel and listen to the music that comes off of it, I'm totally in love with Wicca. But if I go into its belief structure, it's kind of like, I've told this to someone recently because they had become Catholic, and I said, well, they asked me how they should approach Catholicism, and I believe it or not, I'm asked a lot of things like that in my job. I'm like, go to the temple, pick a temple, and she specifically feels the Mother Mary, and I'm like, go there and sit there when no one is talking. Just go in there and sit. And when it's time for the person to talk, get up and leave. If you can do that, you develop a very personal link with the Divine Mother. You don't have to worry about that fucking idiot trying to interfere and being some medium between you and her. What you feel when you sit in that church and you're sitting in front of the Divine Mother, that is real. And that is your personal link to her. But then the priest comes out and it's like, okay, get me the fuck out of here. Because nothing he says is going to actually confirm what you just felt. Matter of fact, could do the opposite. And I've had that experience before. To me personally, when I go into like Catholic places, I just feel the devil everywhere, and that's just me. And it's an energy I really like. I love that energy of darkness. I love the old Adam and Eve story. I love the Lilith energy that comes out of the Adam and Eve story. There's a lot of things in that I really like, and I can sit in that feeling if I go into like a Catholic temple and feel like Satan, Mother Mary, all these energies I like. And I have had the experience where the priest has come out, started giving a sermon, and I was like, oh my God, what an idiot. And I'm not trying to be judgmental, but it was me. My phase is, and I've said this before in the show, I'm at a phase where I'm trying to not be judgmental towards the judgmental. It's really hard for me. When I see people judging people, I get mad. And that's still my fault. I have to still accept the judgmental. We have to accept everybody. I haven't done that yet. I'll do it some other life. I don't know if I want to do it in this life. But when I hear people talking, and one thing this priest did that blew my mind was, okay, I was in this temple, and I felt everything I was telling you that I felt. And then people came in, and it was time for a mass. I wanted to stick around and actually be a part of that, just purely for the sake of feeling. And the priest asked the children in the front what religious holiday started with a J. And one of them said a Jewish holiday. And the priest got really mad at that kid. And the kid was like 5 years old. And that was the beginning of it. And I was like, I'm out of here. This is just so not what I just felt. It's just so not what I just felt. So the philosophy of things is really challenging for me. And that's why even when I was in India, my guru would always say, what is real is given in silence. That's what's real. So we were trained the training I went through in India to do that one thing of like pay attention to what no one is saying. It's like sitting at a bar or sitting at a restaurant and sitting next to a person and just feeling the connection you have to that person. Not verbally, just paying attention to the feeling. And that would end up becoming more valid in your connection to the person than what was actually being said. My teacher would have me sit next to him. He would have thousands of people come to see him daily. And he would have people come and he would ask me very specific questions about how I felt. Like there was one guy that was in line to see my guru, and I was sitting next to him, and a guy came up to him and said, I have cancer. Am I going to live from this? Can I get a blessing from you so I can live from this? Am I going to survive this? I want your knowledge and I want your blessing. And my guru said, no, I would like you to come back tomorrow. Let me think about it. And he looked over at me, my guru did, and say, he called me Mahayogi, and he said, Mahayogi, do you think he's going to live or die? And I said, I don't know. How about live? And he goes, no, you weren't listening. He's going to die from this. He died from it.
Wow.
He died from it. And it was like, really, that was my original first intuition, was the guy wasn't going to live through it. But then my anxiety kicked in about what was really going on, and I said, oh, no, he'll live. And my guru was like, no, he won't. Start paying attention to your original feelings. This was what my life was like. So, like, even being in a friendship or any type of relationship, what is being said is not really my interest nearly as much as what's being felt under the surface. And that's where Tantra comes into play. You know, there's more sexual energy in what I'm talking about than anything else. You know, it's like learning to read people's energy and what they are and all that stuff. This is what the tantric element about is, learning how to pay attention to what's under the surface. That is the subconscious self. That is our power self. That is where the truth exists. It all exists in those feelings and those energies. And words don't really compare to really what is being felt. That's my experience. Not saying it's the only way. That's just what I experience.
That's interesting. It really is interesting. Yeah,
I believe both of you right now, if I was mad at both of you right now, I believe you would be able to tell whether I said it or not. I'm not.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if I was, I believe you would be able to tell. And that is how much power energy has. We feel these things all day long, and it's funny, I believe words confuse all that bullshit. It's like, I think there's a direct feeling between two people that exists almost all the time. And I've been trained in India to pay attention to what that feeling is. And then you realize that words never really match that. And I've learned over time that the words, that feeling ends up becoming very, very true in the end, more real than the words that were expressed to hide that. And then you start thinking everybody's just full of shit. It's like there's a point where you get, when you go through this process, when you really pay attention to energy, you get to a point where you start going, no one says what they feel anymore. No one.
Yeah.
And I think we should be able to align what we feel with what is being said. I think that is where real truth gets, and we're not there yet. And I believe that takes a lot of time for people to even get that comfortable to speak their truth. But when we're in an age where I don't think a lot of people get it, the only thing you have is what the feeling is under the surface. So I'm one, it's like, how does it feel? And this comes from women too. Women will come in and get readings and like, I just have a feeling my husband's doing this and doing that. I'm like, well, let's detect whether this is a fear or this is a feeling. Let's get into it. That's my life. Like every day. It's like, is this a fear or is this real? Let's get into it. I believe most of the time women are right, and their feelings are generally real. And I don't believe they're always getting certain truths and so forth. But we also, in the midst of feeling people's subconscious self, have to be loving and forgiving of everything we feel there. That is where we really learn to love someone, is inside of a person there might be things that make us feel comfortable and things that don't make us feel uncomfortable. We still have to love all of that, not just the easy parts. And I think that's a challenge for people.
Yeah. Because I don't know, it's easy to love somebody who's a cookie-cutter version of yourself and fits into your world, but I think some of the most interesting people are people who are different, who believe differently than I do and, I don't know, enjoy different things. Now, I kind of cut the line when it comes to country music. I used to like it. I was into it for quite a while. I would go like a couple days a week to a country bar and line dance and hang out with those friends. And then on the weekends, I was at a golf club. But I enjoyed the company. I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed the dancing, the exercise, and sometimes the music, but not all of it.
Well, music, I think, might be one of the most important factors because I think it really there are just sounds that are appealing to who we are, and there are sounds that just are not appealing to who we are, and that's why words in the end mean very little. It's the energy of who we are under the surface, and I think music is how we detect those things. It's like I listen to either highly spiritually charged music or really dark. I even like black metal. It's like I turned my whole school on to Slayer when I was a kid. I was just that type of a person, and Believe It or Not, Luna 13 to me is an expression of all the different forms of music I love wrapped up in one ball. Because there's stuff that is really heavy, and there's stuff that actually has a lot of deep meaning to me that comes from that music, even though it's all heavy. And I'm an intense person, so I like hitting people with intensity, and some people don't like that, some people do, but everything comes down to energy, and it really, to me, real spirituality is just about understanding energy, and reading people and becoming very sensitive to what is going on with people that are around us, but that threatens a lot of people, because then if you're really tuned into people's energy, then you're also exposing that person at the same time.
Yeah.
So, I think this stuff we're talking about is a part of the reason why men, I believe, are still afraid of women. Because I think men know that women know who the fuck they are. And the woman is knowing who they are and still trying to love them anyways. It's like that is not like all men. Some like that, but not all of them. Most women are in the position of what I'm talking about. The word Shakti means the power of energy in India, and it's attributed right to the female form. She is the ruler of energy. That's it. She rules over energy. And I believe that's true. I believe women are highly tuned beings. Not all, but as a general rule, I think that they are. And I feel fortunate that I've had a life kind of being, as I joke, being raised by women, all the way down to where I'm at right now. My life is still dominated by the feminine form, and every attempt I make to go out there and like bond it with the male form, I'm like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. It's like, it's just not interesting, not flavorful for me. It's just a very personal preference. And also, as we evolve, our opinions change. I've said this to Raina before, and I remember her. It's like, oh no, I have a lot of fucking opinions. But my guru always said, as you advance and you evolve, you start having more preferences but less opinions. And that was a sign of evolution.
I can see that.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I remember last time I said that, you were like, I'm an opinionated person.
Well, I am, and I think the thing about me that might be different is the fact that I just don't give a shit. I'm comfortable in my opinions. I'm comfortable in my preferences because I have an expansive list of preferences, as you well know. But it's funny. There are not very many women that I know personally who understand the concept of being the holder of energy. There are a few, I know a couple of them, but not very many. I think a lot of women have expectations that are unrealistic, and I think if they had a better grip on who they were as people, or who they are as a version of the divine feminine, they would do a lot better for themselves. But I find that these days a lot of people are still very confused and feel very out of control of their own selves. See, that's where I think I struggle with other women. I have a really good developed sense of self in that regard, and I guess I'm really lucky because I find that a lot of women just have no clue about their own power. And it's not power over other people. It's just raw power, it's raw energy, the ability to move mountains. And I see so many smart women have this ability and not develop it, not put it into practice, and it gets a little frustrating.
And that's where I could be jaded, is in the fact that I deal generally with women that are doing the best they can to be conscious on a day-to-day basis. You know, I'm an astrologer, so most of the women that come to my door are trying to understand that. And I think I do deal with a lot of, I think, you know, it's funny because in my 23 years of being an astrologer, I've actually created a lot of divorces, not willingly, just by telling the female, hey, just get in touch with those feelings. Well, I feel he's like this and he's doing that, and I think that might be my anxiety. We'll go deeper. You know, is it a real fear, or is that actually, is it what you're picking up? I had this happen last week where I'm like, uh-oh, I just created a divorce. I was like, shit. Uh-oh. They're getting a divorce. And right now I think that's all coming into play. You know, I give her a reading, I give him a reading, and then we do a couples reading. And in the couples reading, I had just talked about a previous life where there was a female and they ended up breaking up because of that female in a previous life. And she was like, I have felt this. I have been talking about this. And she's like, guess what? That woman is in our life right now. And he's been telling me that it's not real. I'm delusional. I'm this. I'm that. And and I'm like, oh, no, this is not what I didn't want to go here. Let's not go there. And then she took over. And I was like, uh-oh, I just created a divorce by saying, I told her right up front, like, listen, I didn't know what was going on. I really didn't. I was like, but you're whatever you're feeling because you were born under a certain star, I believe your intuition is right. And I'm doing both of them at the same time. And he's looking at me like, buddy, shut your mouth. Like, shut up. And sure enough, boom, it was all about this feeling of just feel it. Just go with the feeling. Well, if it's fear, it means it's something that's happened to you before. She's like, no, this has never happened. I've never been in a relationship, but I've had this feeling. You know, it's like, so everything I was saying, she kept retorting back to, this is real. And right in front of me, it was just all just exposed, watched this couple unfold, and I was like, oh my God, I just created another divorce by getting a female to go in and trust her feelings. Because the amount of times I hear men saying, oh, no, baby doll, you know, come on, you're going crazy, you know, and to find out that's all real. The amount of times, and the other way too, by the way, I've dealt with the other way a lot. You know, it's like I'm not saying women are saints here, but at the same time, I also do believe a man attracts a woman due to his karma. So if his karma is in a certain light, then she might be there to destroy, and that might be what she's meant to do. I do have this strange belief that women can't do much harm. And if they are bringing harm, it's for his betterment and his growth. That is how firm I am in that. And I'm not even saying that's the truth. It's just something I've seen for so long. I would be lying to say I haven't seen that every day. And I'm sure there's pastors and ministers that have only dealt with the opposite, where men are just on top of the game and women are just little witches out there creating sexual storms everywhere. I just don't see that world. I see the one I'm in now, where the woman definitely reigns supreme, even energetically. I don't even think she has to be aware of it to a certain degree. It's just getting her to, well, I guess, no, it's not true. I do work a lot on getting the females that I give readings to be more in touch with feelings that they've actually been taught not to really elaborate on too much.
Dude, let me tell you something. I will never do couples again because a friend of mine fucking tricked me. This bitch had this planned. She wanted me to read for her and her husband. And she and I were work friends, and we were really close. We spent weekends hanging out, the whole 9 yards. And knowing that I did readings, she wanted me to read for her and her husband. So I pull out the cards, and this is kind of, I was probably a reader for about 10 years, 12 years at that point, not about 10 years at that point. And I pulled out and I spent every day with this woman. And I said, I just had this weird feeling. I'm like, why do you guys want a reading together? And her husband's like, well, we don't have secrets. And I'm like, okay. Well, I start doing the reading, and she was having a fucking affair.
Uh-huh.
And I went, holy shit, and I have to fucking report this. So I was honest. I told them exactly what I saw. And I looked at her because I didn't know she was having an affair, and she was one of my best friends. She used me because she knew I'd find it in the reading, and she didn't know how to tell him. She didn't know how to tell him, so she used me to get it out there. And I was like, I'm telling you, just remembering it makes my jaw drop because I was flabbergasted. A, that she thought I had that kind of talent. B, that she fucking used me, man. She used me. Our relationship was never the same after that. Neither was theirs, obviously, because they got divorced. And then I found out who she had been fucking this whole time, and I was like, really? Him? I mean, it wasn't even a good choice. But yeah, I don't. Even if if people want to insist that I read them together, I refuse. I'm like, no, somebody else can read for you.
It's a very big challenge.
Yeah, no, I won't do it anymore because I was heartsick and happy at the same time. I was happy that, I actually can do this, but heartsick that she used me that way, and I was just like astounded.
That's not nice.
It wasn't cool, man. It was a bad feeling. I was not happy. But I was like, holy shit. You used me to tell your husband that you were having an affair and you wanted a divorce. Holy shit. Wow. So yeah, I won't read couples ever again because of it.
Yeah, and I would even understand that. It's a big challenge. Most of the time, I think that I do a lot of help in them. I probably deal with couples a few times a day. It's part of my work, and most of the time I do is just on those occasions where those things happen. And and relationships are just the dynamic between a male and a female is so, to me, so mystical still. It's like it's still this crazy dynamic of two different energies kind of coming together, and there it is, to me, still sexy. I think there is a component to the male and female form that comes together that's just really something unique and kind of special. But it's doing even like that one girl, she's Sabrina. She sent me that thing about tantra and dick sizes and all this stuff like that. And I sent her a personal message. I'm like, listen, if I'm not going to address this much anymore because I'm only having women ask me to do it. I said because these conversations really hurt men a lot. Where if I had men saying, Jade, can you talk more about dick sizes? Done. We would do it. But I don't, because of the level of sensitivity these things are huge, and rightfully so. I mean, we are talking about, when you're talking about the subconscious, the majority of it is held inside of your sex chakra and your root chakra. That is where the subconscious stores itself. And so our body parts and things of that nature have a lot to do with what we store and hold in our subconscious mind. But, one thing my teacher said in India, which I'll never forget, he said, the only healthy relationship is one that doesn't have a single secret in it. He said, that's it. He said, and he said the only trait a human being should have that they shouldn't ever marry is if they're secretive. He said, if someone's secret, he goes, there's nothing wrong with that. He goes, they just should never marry. That's all. He goes, because they're going to drive their partner crazy, nuts. Because we are interacting with each other subconsciously all the time. We, all three right now, we're having this conversation through words, but we're having a whole other dialogue under the surface through the subconscious mind. And why I love coming on a show is because we run a smooth ship here, I do with you guys. I really like the energy that sits under the surface. Even if we have a moment where Raina's like, hey, shut the fuck up about politics, get off my show and die. I'm joking, by the way. You never said that. Just seeing if you're paying attention. because it's under the surface, everything is clean. It's fine. If it's not clean, and let's say I go on a radio show and this has happened, and it's not a clean connection between me and that person, the smallest thing said that creates a disagreement results in you never being invited back on that show because the energy under the surface was already conflict-based to begin with. And if I go on a show where I deal with men, I believe, and this is about as narcissistic as I get, because I've been trained by women since day one, that I end up in a stronger alpha role. And not because I'm more masculine, strangely enough, because I'm more feminine. And I believe that is my advantage that I have in most of these situations, because I don't go on these shows where there's a lot of men hosts. They all have gotten rid of me, all of them. You think about the ones I've been on, I don't go on there anymore. And that is the reason why. Because they don't want me back on there, because of the fact that there has actually been a guy that has been dealing with nothing but feminine power and igniting his own feminine power to the best of his ability. So when I'm in the situation where it's me and a man, I kind of went out. And it's not because I'm greater than them. I just believe that the female form is more powerful. And I believe that's what I've been surrendered to for so long, and that kind of comes through. So I don't get invited on any of those shows anymore. None of them.
That's a shame.
It is, but that's the only reason why. I mean, because when we were there, the shows were successful. Why would I not go back? Because of these underlining factors come into play, and there's all these alpha struggles that I'm not in. I don't personally get into them. I just believe that I run into them, and I run into problems with men because of the fact that I have such a strong belief in the feminine form and what it represents that it really disturbs men all the time. And you'd be surprised that this even has filtered over, throughout my life, and has been one of the reasons why I'm almost like never invited back on shows where there's a male host. It's been my whole life.
That is so weird. I mean, but as a female, I can understand that because, I guess maybe I'm not as in touch with my masculine side. I think I am more than some women, just because I was a tomboy. I enjoyed that kind of stuff. I don't, I'm not a frilly type of girl. But then again, I don't know if that makes a difference. I mean, those are just, like you said, preferences.
Well, even like what Raina was saying, I think it does. I don't think all women really believe in their power. I don't think a lot of them do. I think a lot of them are learning in various stages. I think, there is a lot of cattiness that goes on that I think it's very hard for women to respect other women, and I just think there is a lot of what Raina was saying. There is a lot of that. Just me as a male, and going into just what the spiritual represents in the feminine and the masculine, I just clearly represent that feminine side. And I had someone send me an email after your last show, believe it or not, was a guy that told me he didn't think I was a balanced human being because my emphasis on the feminine is so strong. I said, you know what? I am balanced in her, 100% balanced in her. I am fully balanced. I feel totally balanced. I am a man and really like being a guy. It's like I am a guy. I love being a guy, and I like the way, as a guy, I can relate to females. I really like that form. I said, so I feel balanced in that all by itself. I don't believe I need to take on any of that conscious of them. And I have really strong male traits, like I'm a sports freak. I love the male competition. I like all these various things that are very masculine, but when it comes to spiritual wisdom, it is 99.9 in favor of the feminine form. And I don't know a lot of guys out there like that. There's some that say that. I ran into guys where we thought we were getting along, but then we would end up in this, in some way, shape, or form, in some dialogue that expressed the opposite. And it's generally the way a man sees a woman. I really am affected when a man does view a female as an object. And I like sex. I like sexy women. I like all that stuff. But it's still, there has to be a feminine discreetness even in that to make it real and to even make it sexual. Otherwise, it's like when a guy's like coming on to a chick and he's like, or sending like dick pics and all these other various things. It's like, where do you think in your brain that actually would really get right in there? It's like,
Yeah,
if it comes from a more of a feminine place, it comes from a different space in the person, and more likely would be accepted. I'm not saying that the whole picture thing. I've never done anything like that before in my life. I think it's interesting that we live in this world where there's so much that goes on. I've never done anything like that, like send pictures of myself or whatever. But all I'm saying is, I just think that. There's a big difference between the masculine and the feminine right now, and I personally see the masculine really struggling, even though I agree with Raina how women have to step a little bit deeper into that.
Yeah, women are thrown in it, really, to be honest with you. Women are kind of like immersed. Well, I mean, women of my generation are immersed in that from childhood, because every relative you have will talk about, after you're done with high school and college, you'll work for a little while and you'll find a nice guy. And in my head it's or girl. And settle down and have kids, and you'll find a good provider. And every boyfriend or girlfriend I ever had was completely unacceptable because they didn't show great earning potential, except for one, and he came from a lot of money, but he was also a complete and utter fucking asshole, so that went by the wayside after a number of years. And I make and have always made in my relationships, male or female, the majority of the money. I don't give a fuck.
Good.
Gives a shit. Who cares? This is not important.
Let me ask you guys both a question in relationship to what you're saying. Like International Women's Day just took place, and you see these comments coming from men like, appreciate women because they're your sister and everybody's come from a vagina. I can't. That misses the whole point to me. Is that just me?
No, it's crazy.
No, it's not just you.
I can't stand that bullshit. Oh, yeah, everybody's come from a woman, so respect the women. I was like, buddy, you missed the whole fucking point.
Yeah, it annoys me on the same level that Black History Month annoys me, because every day should be Black History Day. Every day is
right.
Our history, for good, bad, or indifferent. Every day is Woman's Day. Every day is Man's Day. If you're a decent human being trying to grow and be more than you were yesterday, every day is your day. So, to look at Black History Month and we pat ourselves on the back, oh, look how noble we are. Oh, we gave Black History a whole month. Whoopie fucking do. That's not anything.
The shortest month of the year. No less.
I mean, but the point is that, if you only recognize the importance of Black people for a month or the importance of women for a day, I don't even think men specifically have a fucking day. I mean, every day should be a day to be a good human and learn and grow and change the world in any way you can. Like, even if it's just 3 people around you, if you can make one person feel better about something or put them more in touch with something that's blocking them so that they can get over that hurdle, or encourage somebody, that's not a gender, and that's not a race, and it's not a religion. It's just going through life and being a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. That, to me, is like the most important thing. Did you affect any kind of change that was good for you and the world around you? Even a small one. You did something that you gave someone a compliment. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to cost money. It just has to be something where you made a difference and maybe made somebody else's road a little bit easier, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Something.
I agree.
No, I was going through those comments, on everybody love all women because everybody's come from your mom and this. I was like, I was like, am I just have this massive male hatred that is just stewing in me all the time, or is this the stupidest bullshit I've ever heard? It's like, oh, because you've come from your mom's vagina, you have to respect all women. It's like, that's not why we should respect all women. And I'm like, am I just going overboard here, or why am I being offended by all these comments about all these men going, everybody has a sister or a mom and love all women? I'm like, really?
Because they don't get it. Because
Pussy
they
power,
really
man.
don't get it. It's
Pussy
superficial.
Power.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it all revolves around the vagina. Don't you get it?
It does. It does. Yes. It's almost like it's the same thing. I have these even with the African American culture. It's like it is one thing to say we're sorry, slavery existed, because there's this thing going on here in Los Angeles with billboards, about getting past black slavery. I'm like, we're not going to get past it until we recognize that they've actually made our country a lot better. I mean, we have an amazing country because they're here. It's like, you have to say sorry because it's like, no. It's way beyond that. Our country rocks because they're here. It's like, I believe that we don't acknowledge the fact that our country is better because they're here, that saying sorry doesn't mean shit. It's like, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, there's these billboards out there about being apologetic. It was like Black History Month and whatever. I'm like, that's not. It's like, is everyone missing the point? Is that why we have to keep going through this shit? It's like, our country rocks because of the nationalities inside of it. It really does. We really are a serious. United States is a powerhouse because of its diversity. I mean, what the African culture has brought to the United States is so massive. It has contributed to some of the greatest things we've ever had happen. And so this is like, apology. That's why they're not going to accept it, because I think that in a sense it's so much deeper than that. But I get all hung up on these things. That Women's Month, Women International, was when hearing those comments, everybody's come from vagina, respect women, you have a sister or a mom. I'm like, oh my God, everyone doesn't get it. No one gets it.
That's why I find this shit aggravating. It just aggravates me.
And also being here in Los Angeles and even being a part of the Obama world and watching, homosexuality come out and to watch it be pushed back down. Oh my God, it's like, wow, it's crazy.
It's freaky.
Now, in spirituality, the reason for that would be it would send it into the next level of growth, because it got so much support. It's like me and even Carolyn is a huge advocate, for that whole world, and we live in it. We're here in West Hollywood right now, and I feel so happy to be here as a straight man and fully embrace and accept that world 100%. It's so liberating to have that. But we do know in spirituality when something is able to express itself, and then when you try to shut its mouth, its retort is fierce. So what is going on is going to even further expand the consciousness in it 100%. And so I think that, I think we're in the midst of just having to really end up in these really intense places. But I still believe now that there is an evolution going on, because we're now suffocating or trying to stuff something under the surface that was becoming a life of its own, which I believe forced its growth even further. So we'll have to wait and see. It's not the way I would prefer things to go, but that is happening, especially here in West Hollywood, where people are losing their rights and transgendered are losing their rights. It's just like it is creating this ferociousness, and people who strongly support it are becoming now advocates for it, including someone like myself. So that's the only positive we can bring out, as we do have to see something positive in this whole thing.
I hope you're right.
And if not, it is what it is. What can you do? It's like we're just human beings trying to figure everything out. That's it. And to know who we are.
That's it. To put a cap on it, yeah. It's true. It just bothers, people just have really bad tendency to hurt each other in the process.
Yeah.
And I guess that's just part of the human condition, that we're going to hurt each other even unintentionally while we're growing and trying to figure shit out.
Growing
and
pains.
It's the one principle I received from my teacher in India that has superseded all other wisdoms, all other truths. He just said, you're a human being for one purpose, and that's to know who you are. And that's the only reason the human form is used, is because in this form you get to realize that. And so everything else is just meaningless. It's like we just, and we learn who we are by committing to things that we're not for a while. Sometimes we explore things that are not us, so we realize that we are. I make a big joke, it's like, well, in the 80s, I remember listening to Bon Jovi because, and I liked Bon Jovi because everybody liked Bon Jovi. And I remember the age I got where I don't think I liked a single one of his songs. And I'm like, so I joke here where I'm at. I'm like, I can't stand Bon Jovi. And it's liberating for me to say that because I believed I liked Bon Jovi because everyone liked Bon Jovi, so I'm supposed to like Bon Jovi, so it's freeing for me to say, you know what, I can't stand his music. And so in the music world, I make a joke. I say, I realize something deep about myself. I'm like, what is it? I'm like, I really don't like Bon Jovi. I'm like, oh. Okay, I'm sure he's a nice guy, and by the fact I even work around him, he lives on the East Coast there, and I've worked around him before.
Yeah, he's a Jersey boy.
But even if I saw him in person, I'd say, you're an amazing human being, but I really don't like your music very much, sorry. But we learn who we are. What's that?
I was just going to say, I don't think he'd care, to be honest.
He wouldn't.
He'd be like, okay, well, thanks for being honest with me.
And there's 1,000 reasons to hate me, you know what I mean? And people exercise that right. And I have to go on my Amazon page and YouTube page and sit there and observe the hatred that comes my way all the time. And I thought it was funny that I got involved in music to kind of get out of the battle, because astrology was such a battle, and to find I'm right in it, and it might even be a bigger one. So I'm like, okay, this will be interesting.
Every time you want out, they pull you back in.
There's truth, all truth there.
Be a duck, let it slide off or let it roll off. That's the point I've gotten to. It's like, you know what? Okay, that's awesome if you like me. It's awesome if I like you. If you don't like me, that's okay too. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm like, sis, you don't like it, don't look. You've got other options. Yeah. Nobody is forcing you to drink at Starbucks, and sorry, they don't have crosses on their cups. Nobody's forcing you to go see Beauty and the Beast with a gay character. I just don't understand why people feel lately the need to announce, I don't like this. It's like, okay, congratulations.
Yeah.
Get on with your life, I mean, not tying into Bon Jovi, but people can not like stuff and say, okay, well, I don't like that, and then move on. But it's the moving past it that a lot of people are having problems with. I don't get it. It's like they're going to yell at you till you agree with them. And that's
I know.
Annoying.
I know. I'm surrounded by all that heavy opinions and heavy likes and dislikes, and unfortunately, the Indian belief is the reason why you should have preferences as opposed to strong likes and dislikes. Is they believe that strong opinions mean you still have to be broken down further. They said when you're broken down, you eventually end up having preferences, not strong likes and dislikes.
Okay.
Huh. Oh, I just got the 90-second mark.
Uh-oh.
We're on it, and the good news is we're already booked for the next show, so
yes,
I think I can come back like in May.
That's right, because I strong-armed them. I'm like, you have to be on in your birthday month. You have to. So I was kind of like, come on, Jade.
That's just a few days after it, too.
Yep.
Yay.
Yep, right after. That's exactly right.
We'll have to sing you happy birthday. Well, sis will have to sing you happy birthday. I'm not allowed. But thank you so much for coming on. And we love you guys.
Thanks for having me, and I love you guys, and I can't wait to come back on.
Love you
Yay.
too. Please send our love and regards and my hearty respect to Lilith. I think she's amazing.
Oh, I will,
Absolutely.
and you guys can do that too. And you guys can ask her personally if she would like to do something like coming on here. That was a decision she would want to make on her own. But you guys can out at any time.
I'm gonna.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right.
Talk to
All
you
right,
guys
you guys
very
have a great
soon.
weekend.
You too.
All right, we love you.
Love you a
too.
bunch.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, that was awesome. We were down for like 10 seconds, so wrap it up.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie. Love you guys. Pray blessings.
See you next
Have a great
week.
weekend.
Bye.
Daddy, where do babies come from?
Honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, Sunshine.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Carowinds knows that you can't fit all the reasons the Carolinas are such a great place to live into one ad. So they went ahead and put it all into one festival, Taste of the Carolinas, Saturdays and Sundays, April 22nd through May 14th. There'll be food from around the region, paired with craft beer and wine, plus chef demonstrations. But that's not all. There's shag lessons, live music, and kids activities so you can bring the whole family to get a true Carolina experience. But hurry, right now everyone pays kids price, only at Carowinds.com.